don't confuse feeling stuck in your career with being in a toxic workplace or on a team that you're not aligned with. Because you can still like the career, but maybe this organization is no longer for you. So, two different things. Hey, I'm Nika Smith, and welcome back to the Great Big Life TV, where we talk about all things midlife transition. In today's episode, we're going to break down the 5 clear signs that it is time to rethink your career and what to do about it. Feeling stuck in your career in your 40s is not a great feeling, especially when you have put in a lot of work to get where you are, and this is where you want it to be, right? Like you decided probably, like, this is where I want to go, this is where I want to be, especially if you're a high achieving, a high performing individual. What happens though when we get to this stage in our life is that there's this nagging feeling that I'm stuck. This is really not a passion for me, or I've outgrown this. And those are just some signs that may be telling you, like, hey, let's maybe start thinking, at least just thinking about what else is possible. And that's what we're going to do today. Let's be real. Feeling stuck in your 40s in your career is a whole different beast. You know, you've built the career, you have the accomplishments, you have the experience, you've done the things, but something feels off. And it's not that you're ungrateful, it's just that you're unsatisfied. And that dissatisfaction is likely not going to go away, which is why I want to talk to you about these 5 signs today. So let's get into it. So before we get into the 5 signs, I do want to say don't confuse feeling stuck in your career with being in a toxic workplace or on a team that you're not aligned with. Because you can still like the career, but maybe this organization is no longer for you. So, two different things, and we'll maybe have a video about that at another time. This topic aligns really well with my video, The Midlife Audit. Go check that out after you watch this, because it really is about gaining awareness, and this topic is really going to help you gain awareness. But for a deeper dive in that, in the Great Big Life Cycle, go check that video out. You'll find the link here. Let's talk about these signs. The first sign is dreading Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, but never Friday. Right? Let's just start with the obvious. You hate going to work. Whether you are going virtually or in person or hybrid, it doesn't matter. You don't like it. You hate it. And I'm not talking about the occasional Sunday scaries. I'm talking about every day. It is a slog. It is a push to show up. Maybe there was a time when you felt a spark and you were excited about going and doing the work that you were doing and serving the people that you were serving. But now you live for the weekend. Like you can't wait for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's not enough time. So what do we do about this? So if this sounds like you, start paying attention to what exactly it is that drains you. Is it the actual work? Are you more customer facing and you don't want to do that anymore? I know for me, when I was seeing clients counseling back to back, that started to be draining. I liked the work, right? But I didn't want to like sit back to back and see clients. So I had to figure out what's a different way for me to enjoy this work, but not allow it to drain me, right? But maybe that's not it. Maybe it's the team that you're on, right? Maybe you don't like the team that you're working with and they are draining to you. Or is it the fact that there's a lack of growth, right? There's no growth on the team. You've been in the same position for 3, 4, 5 years and there's nowhere to grow within the organization. That can certainly make you dread coming to work. Whatever it is, clarity is really key before you make any move, right? Because you want to make a move based on all of the right information, not just feelings, but what's the right information that you're going to move on. So get that clarity for sure. Sign number 2, you feel undervalued and underutilized. You know your worth more than anybody else. You spent the time to build your skills, build your expertise, and to prove yourself. And you're not being recognized for it at this point. Not a good feeling. Or maybe you're just coasting right now. The work is too easy. You're not being challenged. There's nothing new for you to do. There's nothing for you to really sink your teeth into. Either way, you feel like your potential is being wasted. What do we do here? Right? So, what's the next move? Ask yourself, have I outgrown this role? Right? Am I just past this point in my life? Is there still room for me to grow here? If not, it might be time to start exploring. And if you haven't checked out my exploration video, please do, because this is going to surely help you get past this phase of the transition journey. Sign number 3, your job is affecting your health and your happiness. You all know how important mental health, physical health, just health in general is to me. You can't buy that. If your job is leaving you drained, stressed, anxious, that is a red flag for sure. You cannot get your health and wellness back at the drop of a dime. A job cannot be worth it, especially at this phase in your life. Some signs that you might be overly stressed or your physical wellness is being impacted by work is that you can't get enough sleep, even when you get enough sleep, right? You wake up still tired and drained after the 8 hours of sleep that you're supposed to get. You're starting to have unexplained headaches, body aches, a lot of stress related illnesses. Anytime I see people that are like always sick, always got a sinus infection, always something, that's not just the air or the weather. Like something needs to be addressed and looked at, right? That could be more than just I'm not feeling well. Like, how is this related to the role that I'm in, my job? Another sign to watch is if you feel anxious every time you get an email or a DM or a phone call from your boss or from a particular, team member. That's something to watch, right? It's one thing to, maybe your boss ain't that cool, which is fine. It's another thing when that is triggering your anxiety, that is triggering you in some way. And again, if you're at this stage in your life, this point in your life, and this has not been a thing for you, that is a sign. That is a sign, right? This is something that's brand new. So what do we do, right? Well, how can we manage this? One is to begin to set some very serious boundaries. One of the things that I started doing because I was beginning to feel really stressed in my own job, just things are much busier than they had been in a while. And I started feeling stressed just in my body. I could feel it. And so I started like at 5 o'clock or whenever I got off work, shutting everything down. That meant the TV, that meant the laptop, that even means my phone, like for 45 minutes to an hour, just so I could detach. And I didn't have all of this kind of adrenaline running through my body about work. And I'm not going back to check work emails or did this person respond and did this and did that. And that has been so helpful for me. So find your way to set a boundary. What is your boundary? What is that thing, right? What is it? Because if you can't do that, or if your boundaries are always being crossed, this is the time to start exploring. It really is. Because nothing should be at the cost of your well-being. There's only one you. If you stress yourself out, you won't have a job. If you burn out, you certainly can't even function. Right? And if you have a heart attack or some sort of other, medical event, you may not even be able to go back to this job. So understand, like, this is really important. It's probably one of the more important signs I think that we talk about in this video. So take heed. All right, let's get to sign number 4. You keep daydreaming about doing something else. Do you spend any of your time scrolling other jobs thinking, I could do that, I should be able to do that? Or just scrolling down timelines and looking for not just side hustles, but maybe I could just start a whole nother career. Maybe I just start my own business. Maybe I can just do that. Because there's nothing at all that is redeeming about where you are now. And so now you're daydreaming. And just so you know, this isn't random, right? Especially for those people like they've never wanted to really do anything else, or they kind of have had a more streamlined career, and then you're finding yourself really thinking outside of the box. That is a very clear sign, my friend, that there may be something out there else for you to explore. So what do we do here? Don't shut the thoughts down. Do some research. That don't mean go run out and quit your job, but do a little bit of research, right? Ask people questions that are in that particular field. Find out, take a class, watch a video, but just start doing some research. Just learn a little bit more about some of the other things that are possible for you. Just again, to get you in that mindset, to get you out of the dream state world and into the real world, and see how this could maybe be a possibility for you in the future. All right, our last sign is sign number 5. And this is you feel like you're wasting your time. Just the thought of staying in this role for another 5, 7, 10 years, or 3 years even, makes you feel physically ill. I had a coaching client recently who was looking to change industries. And I always like to explore, like, well, is there some way we can maneuver where you are now that you could be happy with? So I said, well, if you're there a year from now, and as soon as I said that, just the look on her face, like, absolutely not. Like, she almost shivered, right, in the call. So if you have that same reaction, if someone says, you staying in this role, you staying in this organization, you staying at this job for another 2, 3, 5 years, it says a lot about the fact that your time, talents, and energy could be spent better elsewhere. Pay attention to that. Start asking yourself, what would make me excited to wake up in the morning? And then what's the next best move to get me closer to that? Right? We're not overhauling everything, we're just thinking, exploring, and expressing. We talked about a lot of things. I want to be very clear. I did not tell any of y'all to go quit y'all job tomorrow. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if you relate to 3 or more of those signs, it might be time to explore some other options. Don't forget to check out my midlife transition checklist, where you can look at that checklist and maybe even some of those questions and some of those things can help you in your exploration phase as well. So check that out. It's free, download it, and let me know what you think if you do get it. Also, in the comments, let me know if any of these signs hit home for you. Or if you've made some career shifts, how did you do that? I'm sure other folks would get a benefit of that as well. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't, because why not? Why are you not subscribing yet? Come on now. That's my time for today. Thanks, and I'll catch y'all on the other side. Bye.